Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mention It All podcast. I am thrilled to be here today with one of our newest Potomac Housewives. She is definitely making a splash so far this season, so I'm excited to chat with her. Angel Massey, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Dylan.
How you doing? We're like a handful of episodes into your first season.
Yeah,
you're in the deep end.
I sure am in the deep end, but you know what? This present moment, Angel, life is great.
Life is great.
Yeah.
I know you've been spending some time in Colorado. Obviously,
Yes.
You guys still have your house there.
Yes.
What has it been like kind of these last few months of, you filmed the first season, all of that was done and just kind of waiting for it to come out.
Yeah.
And now it is. How
Yeah.
has it been experiencing it in real time?
It's been, when we wrapped shooting, I really just needed the time to decompress with my family. A lot of people don't know this because I don't think that I mentioned it in the show, but Bobby and I have been looking for a Maryland house since 2024. So we were there before filming started, but we've been going back and forth looking at these homes, finding a home, being heartbroken, seeing a home, then it's not the same in person. So we've just really had this dance between Maryland and Colorado for a while now, but it was just kind of nice to decompress after we stopped filming and, be back in Colorado for a little bit to kind of get away from everything. But now it's like I'm reliving it again. Oh, joy.
every Sunday night.
Every Sunday night. Oh, joy.
What has it been like for you, the experience of watching the episodes the first time that you're really like seeing yourself on this platform? Has it been fun for you to watch? Has it been a little bit like watching through your fingers and you're
Yes.
like, what's going to happen?
I'm a girlie who has really bad secondhand embarrassment. Anytime I hear myself or see myself on the screen, which is interesting that I would choose to do this.
Yeah.
So I have been watching it, and it's really strange because the me here and the me on the screen, it's kind of like I'm watching someone else. It's really interesting. It's kind of like a little bit of cognitive dissonance because, for instance, I know that I am a cheerful, bubbly person, but I'm not necessarily cheerfully and bubbly on the season. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, where's the joyful girl? But it's also been fun and interesting to see how people receive me.
I haven't been on a show like this, but I've talked to so many people who have been through it. And you kind of, especially in your first season, you can go in with an intention or maybe an idea of what you want to bring to the show, but you can't control what comes on the other end. And so I think if you're having those moments where maybe you're going through something tough, maybe you're having an issue with somebody that you didn't expect to have an issue with, those moments are real. And if you were trying too hard to kind of be like, no, I'm fun and bubbly, that would feel weird too.
Yeah. And these women, they are vets. They are professionals at this. And I think that they're also professionals at shutting off maybe not their emotions, but the amount of care that they give towards what's happening to them when we're together. But for me, I'm a Pisces, Scorpio, Gemini. And so I am feeling everything and I am reacting to it like a real person,
Yeah.
So I think that I came into the season with intention to bring the group together, to be zen, to give these ladies a safe space if they want to talk to me. But,
you
the
really,
best laid plans.
you really tried with the zen, with the sound ball.
I did. But, Gizelle is saying, I don't like zen. I like a mess, So, I mean, hey, I did the best I could.
We had Zen Wen a couple of seasons ago. I don't know how that's working.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, I don't know. She still calls herself that. So, hey.
You gotta stay the course.
Yeah.
I am very interested though, because we've had wags on Housewives before, but I think hearing you talk about it, your husband, a 10-year starter.
Yeah.
He played for a few different teams during his time in the NFL, and you've talked about kind of being in that NFL wife community, and really it is this sisterhood group that you contribute to and really build.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of women, when they join Housewives for the first time, it might be the first time that they're really in a group of women that's that prominent in their lives.
Yes.
You know, people are like, oh, I've just been at home with my husband and the kids.
Yeah.
I've never been on a girls' trip. I've never gone to dinner with the ladies.
Yeah.
And I think for you, there must be similarities that you feel in some ways of your NFL experience and then Housewives.
No, it's night and day.
No, night and day. Okay. Talk about it.
With the WAGs, we all have the intention of making sure that we are all uplifted, that we all look the best, that we are not embarrassing each other. It is a real sisterhood in that way. And not to say that this is not a real sisterhood, because you can see that there are real relationships within the group. But I think that the difference is that there is this sense of digging into who you are without actually asking. And so I think that that is maybe the nature of this sisterhood versus a WAG type of sisterhood. You know what I mean? So it's different. It's a little bit more, you just got to be ready.
It is interesting though, because if your man gets traded, you're in a new city, you're joining a new group, like
you are
that. And I think maybe with joining Housewives, like that's one thing where it's like having to figure out where you fit into like a new community, kind of.
Absolutely. That is a similarity. And just trying to find your way and trying to represent yourself in the best way, represent yourself and your family in the best way possible, but still make friendships and allow yourself to be vulnerable. I know that one thing at the Truth and Tranquility event, I told the ladies that like losing my mom was like a real turning point for me in my life, and it really changed me. You know, the Angel who was in the DMV before, she would like pop off. She would right away have something to say. But I think that meditation and mindfulness really helped me to heal the grief from losing my mom. She was my best friend. And so it changed my level of reactivity to things, because, you know, that no one wants to lose their mother. That's the worst thing possible for some people that could ever happen to them in their life. And so once the worst thing possible happens to you in your life, you're like, okay, everything else is a cakewalk. So, but then, you know, I guess I'm kind of resharpening my tools, because you got to bring it, you know?
Well, that's the thing, is you can come in with the intention, but if somebody's coming at you, you can't just roll over.
No, you can't.
And I'm wondering for you, like we're watching this first half of the season, let's say, what was it like when you were sort of just getting used to being around the cameras, to going through these filming events, and then maybe there was more coming your direction than you anticipated?
Well, I was a red carpet host and a TV producer in another life, I guess you could say. And so I really thought that I was prepared for what it would feel like to have these cameras. But it's a little different, because I am a slow burner. I'm a person who processes things emotionally, like after events happen. And you really can't be like that in this arena. Like you got to get it going right then and there. You have to hurry up and process. And so I think that I wasn't nervous, but I was hesitant to like show out a little bit.
Right.
Because I just kept thinking about my family and representing them well, and representing the legacy of my family that's not the Masseys, you know what I mean? And so I think that I get more comfortable like as the season goes on. But you see me trying to figure out like what's real and what's not. Like you see me in real time processing. And so it can appear that I'm like, oh, I'm just not going to say anything. But really it's me like being like, damn, what the is happening here? You know?
I think the way that you just kind of laid that out tracks a lot with what we've been watching in those episodes in Nevis, where when that photo got brought up at the dinner, that was not something you were like expecting or prepared for.
No, because I had just given Gizelle a host gift. I had just given her a present, and I said, thank you for inviting me. You know, here's this small gift as a token of my appreciation. I appreciate you. And then 5 minutes later, we get to the dinner table, and she's saying that my photos I look different online. And let's be clear, the photo that is referenced in the episode is not the photo we're discussing at the table.
Okay.
So you see me doubling down that this photo has not been edited, but the photo that everyone sees does have a filter on it.
Yes. Okay.
I'm not a liar.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I'm not going to slap a filter on a photo and say, no, it's not. I'm not stupid. People can see that it has a filter. And mind you, in that picture that you see with my braids, I'm 8 months pregnant. And so I was looking rough, like a lot of ladies in the last.
You're like, look, we're hanging on by a thread
we're
here.
hanging on, But what we were discussing at the table was not the photo that you guys see. And what we were discussing at the table, the photo was a photo of me and my daughter that a professional photographer took of me.
Okay.
And so I'm taken aback. And you also see me on this trip kind of trying to regulate my emotions because I'm missing my kids.
Yes. And so I think that's kind of after the dinner, there was like the Wendy birthday thing where you had like, you kind of turned it around and had a little bit of a lighter moment.
I wasn't having fun.
You weren't having fun.
No,
but
I wasn't.
I think you put on a good front a little bit.
Yeah, I just think that people don't know me. And so like my sister was watching it and she was like, no, I could totally tell you were pissed.
Right.
So I was trying to be a good sport, but at the same time, let them know, look, I'm not a shrinking violet. I'm not running away from these experiences because they're hard. And at the same time, I wanted to celebrate Wendy because I want to have a relationship with these ladies. Like, I'll take it back to Preakness really quick. The reason I got so mad at Wendy at the table was because the day before, I was at her house with my kids and my husband. I had driven 2 hours to come see her, to meet her lovely children, to meet Eddie. We had a great time. We were bonding, talking about meditation and journaling, which she does too. She's like, I'm going to have your back on this trip because I know what it's like to be without my kids. And then the very next day, she's calling me out at the table. And so that's why you see me reacting in this way and getting so upset because I'm like, dang, we were just bonding here. And like, if you really felt concerned, why didn't you just pull me aside?
Right.
And so it's just like this back and forth of me trying to figure out where I stand with this group.
Yeah.
And mind you, I mean, don't imagine that you have met a group of folks just a month before, and then you are traveling with them internationally.
Exactly. Yeah.
You don't know them still.
Well, and I think that's something that I've heard a lot of people talk about is especially when you get on these trips.
Yeah.
It is such a high pressure kind of experience where then the next morning, Gizelle's knocking on the door.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, can I have a hug?
Yeah.
And for you, like what you've been saying is that like you normally are somebody who works through your feelings about stuff at a little bit of a slower pace. And it's like, I'm not ready for the I'm not ready for the hug because I'm still processing last night.
I was still a little bit mad at her and I don't want to be fake. You see me tearful on that during that discussion. And it's not because I'm sad or embarrassed by her. It's because I invoke my daughter and I tell her like, you wouldn't want your daughters treated like this, and I wouldn't want my daughter treated like this. And so just thinking about my baby, it made me tear up because I'm like, damn, like I left my kids to be slayed over and over and over again. So
can you walk me through, because you were moving back to Maryland and you had your daughter. How old was your daughter when you started filming for the season?
18 months.
Like, I think people also don't necessarily think about that. It's like, that's such a like sensitive time in your life too.
It is. And so my daughter was 18 months when we started filming the show. And when I got pregnant with my daughter, my son was 18 months. And so I'm a lady who is in her mid-30s, having 2 kids back to back, and really just being in this place of heightened emotions from being postpartum and just really being so connected with my kids because, I'm still breastfeeding. And what we didn't get to see is that I'm pumping throughout the trip. I'm pumping in the morning. After every event, I'm pumping in the midday. If we're going to dinner, I'm pumping before we're going to dinner. I'm excusing myself so that I can go pump. You know what I mean? I'm an overproducer.
You're not going back to the room to just like chill for an hour.
No, like everybody else. And so I'm constantly thinking of my kids because I'm pumping milk. And then someone's calling me catfish on a picture of me and my daughter. It's just a lot, and it's not that I am not fierce and I can't take it. It's just, give me a chance. Who would want to go on a trip that was supposed to be fun and then get the Spanish Inquisition at the damn table? Who wants that? You want to have fun. You want to turn up. You want to take shots. You know what I mean?
Right. And also, I do think there was an element of like, it wasn't they weren't bringing up something that you did to hurt them or that that you made up some story about somebody else. It's like they were talking about a picture that you posted.
Yeah, who
and
cares?
It's like, there's that other layer to it that it's like, so it feels petty in that way.
It was very petty because it has nothing to do with my character. It has nothing to do with Nevis. It has nothing to do with what's happening at the time. It's just designed to embarrass me. And I also, watching it back, it's crazy because here I'm thinking that I'm cool with so many of these ladies just to see them talking about me behind my back. And so it's making more sense why I'm getting the energy from them now watching it. Right. But back then I was just confused, like I made up with, me and Wendy made up after Preakness. We talked to each other about what happened at the table. And then when I arrive at the airport, she doesn't say anything to me. So you see me and Nevis say, damn, like I don't feel welcome. It wasn't about not getting a robe with my name on it or not getting a towel with my name on it. It was about the fact that I felt crazy because there was no acknowledgement. And this is the very first time I'm leaving my kids ever in life, And so it just didn't feel good, and all this discussion of how much my energy changes. Well, the truth is I keep the energy that's right for me in that moment. And it doesn't need to make sense for anyone else because it's not happening to them.
I want to talk a little bit about your dynamic with Keiarna.
Yes.
Because that's been interesting to kind of see developing, changing maybe a little bit over the course of the season so far. Coming into filming, where did you feel like you guys stood? And what were you kind of expecting from her as somebody who's been on the show already that you have this relationship with versus maybe how it played out?
Well, Keiarna and I have a great relationship, first of all, present day. And when I came into filming, we had a great relationship then. I mean, this is a long friendship. I know we are always like 20 years, but like in that span of time, we've only had one fight. And so that's a pretty good record for a friendship. We understand each other. And so I think that I expected the cadence of the friendship, if you will, to match what I've experienced with her in the past. We are in a friend group together outside of this friend group too. So it's never been something that I felt like I need to worry about. But, of course, I will admit, like seeing the scene with Gizelle and her talking about me, it was really hurtful. And of course, I didn't know how it went down until after the season aired. And so it was hard. I mean, and we've had those hard discussions, and you see me react at the store that way because I'm like, damn, this is my real friend. And so, of course, I'm going to believe her before anybody else. I don't know these ladies just yet. And so, like, you see me react that way because I'm like, okay, well, I'm out here looking a little stupid, Right. And it's hard to navigate a real friendship on the show.
Yeah, I think that's such an interesting kind of dynamic because, of course, there's that outer layer of like, we go back a long way, we have this history. But when you're on, the show and there's, you're doing your confessional interviews and you're filming scenes with other people, like it's a format where you're supposed to talk about things. You're supposed to have opinions on things. And I think that puts kind of a normal friendship outside the show under a different kind of pressure.
And pressure. You're right. And I came into the season thinking that I was going to hold her down no matter what. Because a part of my introduction to Potomac was really watching it because I wanted to see what was happening with her before I was on the show. And seeing like the challenges in different relationships with people and seeing her being victimized in that way in past seasons. And so I wanted to come on and hold her down, if you will, because I didn't see that before for her. And I think that it's a part of my like altruistic Pisces nature that sometimes I think about people that I care about before I think about myself, which can sometimes be a mistake,
Yeah, that's a good point. I think like being in a high pressure environment like this, it's like you really have to balance that. Like what does Angel need versus like how am I interacting with everyone else, whether it's somebody I love and hold dear or whether it's somebody that I need to keep at arm's length. Like that's a lot of it's a lot of things to juggle.
It is. And I was balancing like, damn, I'm not going to throw this 20-year friendship down the toilet because these things are happening, but damn, these things are happening. You know what I mean?
And I think it's like important to have that perspective where it's like we can have a disagreement about something and that doesn't outweigh all the other all the history that we have or all the love that we have for each other. And like you said, like our relationship is good present day. Like we can figure it out.
Yeah, I love Keiarna at the end of the day. Like that is my friend. Not only are we friends, but she also like did my mom's hair before. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and so it's like it's different.
But she knows parts of you that these women will never get to know just because it's in the past.
And so it may be easy for them to throw their friends under the bus to people that they don't know, but it's not easy for me to do that. And like I said, I'm a girl's girl. And so do we have to have hard discussions about how she showed up where I'm concerned? Of course, because just like everybody else, that scene at the table when I was there didn't feel like that. It didn't feel like she was being mean, if you will. But watching it back, I'm like, damn, is that how it went down? You know what I mean? And so I think that as a protection mechanism, sometimes you check out of things in high stress situations. And I've never had a group of women at a table just coming for me, ping, 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 everybody. Because normally women just have a little more grace with them when stuff like that is happening. They don't want to pile on you. But this is what it is. You know what I mean?
I'm sure you talked to Keiarna about kind of the group and everything, and you had watched the show a little bit. How much did you take opinions or things that you had heard or been told about the other women in the group versus I'm going to go in and get to know everybody and form my own opinions?
I definitely went in with a clean slate for everybody where I'm concerned. Because just because she's having a problem with someone doesn't mean that I'm going to have a problem with them. You see in the first scene where we're hiking down the C&O Canal, and I say, just talk to Wendy. Just have a conversation with her.
Right.
You know, maybe it's a misunderstanding. And then I go to Wendy's house with my husband, a 2-hour drive because she lives in the boonies. My 1-year-old at the time, who is just suffering in the back seat, like, can we get out of here? And I take that hike to get to know her because I want to get to know her. I bring Gizelle a host gift because I want to get to know her. You know, I made overtures to get to know these ladies outside of my relationship with Kay. But it seemed like they wanted to make us the Bopsy twins always. I'm an individual. I'm a grown-ass woman. I'm a CEO of my business. I'm a co-CEO of my family. I've always been this way. People who know me know that I'm an independent thinker. And that's why you see in that scene where I'm like, well, damn, how do you know that her kid wasn't sick? You know? And I supposedly get chin check for that. I don't consider what she said
the drinking
as a
every time you say chin check.
I mean, it was jarring. And some people might not consider saying chin check and a big deal. But for me, I just don't use that type of language with my friends. So I definitely was coming in giving these ladies a chance. And let me be clear, Kay did not have a lot of bad things to say about anybody. She just didn't. Yeah.
I'm so curious, what was your initial read on Stacey? Because Stacey is somebody who, she has made a big impression. People,
I mean,
she's like kind of a fascinating person to watch.
Yeah.
But there was so much with the end of last season.
Yeah.
Her people just thinking she's lying about stuff. And I'm wondering for you coming in fresh this year, maybe having a little bit less of a, you know, thing in the back of your head that like about her relationships.
I understand Stacey because she comes from like that TV journalism world. And so I understand how she presents. I know people like Stacey.
Yeah, those QVC clips that have been going around.
Right. I know people like her. So it tracks. And then at the balloon ball, we don't see it, but I pull Stacey aside when all the women are attacking her. And I'm like, damn, I just want to get to know you to the side. I just want to get to know you. And so I didn't have a bad impression of Stacey. I also always said that I don't think that she has to present her divorce papers to these ladies because she doesn't owe them anything. You know what I mean? And if she wants to lie about her personal life, let her lie.
Let her lie.
let her lie. People need to have the same level of accountability for themselves because there is also someone who lied a lot about their divorce, but then they're asking Stacey about her paper. So it's like, okay, like practice what you preach.
Yeah, I think we had like 3 seasons of this show of the Darby divorce.
So it's just like, damn, why do you want to see her divorce paper so bad? It's giving like,
well, and then also it was funny the way it worked out that by the time we were having the divorce paper conversation, she's like, getting back with us.
Getting back. And that's what happens. Her and her man had been together for 15 years. Like they were divorcing. She started dating. It's very normal, whether she paid him or not, whatever, she was dating someone and then they tried to get back together for the sake of their family. Why can't that be a positive storyline instead of bitch, you lying? You know what I mean? Like
I'm enjoying watching it, whatever the truth is.
Yeah. She's fun. She's funny. She's lighthearted. I think that she's great for Potomac. Yeah.
It's your first season. It's rolling out as we speak. I know it's a week-to-week roller coaster watching it and experiencing it. How are you feeling about the season as a whole and, what's to come? And just like, you have a whole life outside of this show.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to kind of for these next few months?
I would say there are a lot of twists and turns, a lot of reaches. Where I'm concerned. It's been a season of reaches. But there are some bonding moments between us. And you have to remember, like, we are together not that long of a time. And of course, some of us have relationships with each other outside of the group. But in my life is going great. My business, Wonderland Outdoors, is doing well. I am opening or starting a nonprofit called Deeply Sown Collective to provide people with seeds, soil, and instructions on how to grow their own gardens in their homes. I am, along with my husband, been opening Wonderland Atlantic in Maryland in 2026. So, we're rocking and rolling in my personal life. My kids are 2 and 4 now, still breastfeeding, still pumping. The 2-year-old. Life is good. It's such a dichotomy because you see all this drama with this group of ladies, but then my home life is so mellow.
Right, like I'm busy all week and then I got to see what these girls are saying about me on Sunday night.
Man, sometimes like I have to like watch it like this. Like, what are they going to say about me now?
But you got to make your little to-do list at the reunion.
Exactly.
Things to bring up.
But there's also like a level of not caring about people's opinion of me because I didn't come on this show to wonder about people's opinion of me. Every hot girl's been talked about before, so it's not my first rodeo with my name in people's mouth. It's just a little bit of a different scale.
You got to keep that balance where it's like, I want to be aware of what people are saying, but I'm not going to base my whole life
because
on it.
I see them tearing me up in the comments, and that's okay. At the end of the day, they haven't gotten the privilege of really getting to know me so much. So let them, as Mel Robbins would say. I'm mixing Brene Brown and Mel Robbins together.
We got to get the wisdom.
Let them.
I love it. Angel, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to rate, review, follow. And until next time, be cool. Don't be all like uncool.